Welcome to Impact Farming, where we introduce you to the people and ideas that will have a massive impact on your farming operation. Brought to you by Farm Marketer. Sit down, start the engine, and let's roll with today's show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Impact Farming Show. We are live at Crop Connect 2020, and I have an awesome guest with me. I have Kim Keller from the Do More Ag Foundation. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I am so happy to have Kim here. You, Leslie, and two other individuals founded Do More Ag. I'll get you to touch on that.
Sure.
I've had Leslie on the show multiple times, and I'm so excited to have you here. You're such a powerful speaker. You're so compassionate. Obviously, from what you've done, I'm excited to have you on the show to share. So, welcome.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So, let's start off and talk about Do More Ag. Where did that all start?
Right. So it started in 2017, but it actually started even before that. So the fall of 2014, I had been home and I had been helping with harvest. And after harvest, I went back to Vancouver where Farm at Hand was based.
Okay.
And while I had been home for harvest, I had gotten a phone call from one of my friends, and she had just lost a neighbor to suicide.
Oh.
I remember just feeling devastated.
Yeah.
I went back to the Farm at Hand office, and I remember pulling everyone into the boardroom, and I told them what happened. And right away, people that had no connection to agriculture other than working at Farm at Hand were saying, we have to do something.
Oh, wow.
We need to do something. And we brainstormed and we talked, and we actually came up with a t-shirt campaign.
Okay.
And that t-shirt campaign was just about raising awareness, and then we were donating all the funds to the Farm Stress Line. So fast forward to
Good for you. That's awesome.
It was actually a lot of fun. The t-shirts were actually pretty cheeky and pretty fun. So
what did they say? I don't think I've seen those
so
ones.
It was actually just graphic, and it would be a farmer plus a cow equals a steak. So it'd be a picture of a farmer, a cow, and a steak. And we did that for a few different commodities.
Okay.
So it was actually a lot of fun.
Nice.
So fast forward to 2017, one day I received a message from someone who had just lost a farming client to suicide. And he had seen the t-shirt campaign, and he thought, she's going to be able to help.
Okay.
So he wanted help, or he was looking for help for the family who had just lost their family member, as well as his other farmers that he knew were struggling. I got that message, and I had no idea what to do.
No kidding.
Because it hit me that in 2 years since we did that t-shirt campaign that we all patted ourselves on the back for, and it was such a huge success, nothing had changed.
Wow.
The industry hadn't changed. And frankly, I was pissed off that nothing had changed.
No kidding.
So I drafted up some tweets, and I sat on them all day, all night, and I wanted to send them so bad. But I was so scared to send them. I thought, I'm gonna get ridiculed, I'm gonna get made fun of, I'm gonna get told to shut up, I'm gonna get told I'm making something out of nothing. And I remember I sent them to my co-founder, Himanshu, and I said, I made these, I wanna send them, but I shouldn't, right? And he's like, you need to send these.
Oh, good.
And I said, but what if? Like, what if I get backlash? And he's like, what if you don't?
Amen.
So I sent it. And I remember I threw my phone away.
Oh my gosh, that feeling in your stomach, right?
Yeah, it was like panic.
Yeah.
And then the direct messages started to come.
Okay.
And the retweets started to go. And the replies started to go.
Wow.
And it was just like a dam had burst, and someone had given an industry permission to just start talking.
Oh, nice.
And that was a pretty incredible moment. And there was a lot of stuff that happened afterwards. And part of that was Leslie, Kirk Myers, Himanshu, and myself coming together and saying, okay, we can do something. We want to do something. What does that look like? And then we decided to create this foundation.
Okay. Wow. And who would have thought?
Not me.
It's unbelievable, and I am sure many, many people have shared amazing stories, and I know they have with you guys. And I hope many, many people have thanked you personally, but I find sometimes they don't take the time. And because I can on my show, I just really wanted to honor you guys. And I've told Leslie that before too. You guys have done such an amazing thing for an industry.
I just think that we're lucky that the industry let us do it. I mean, they didn't have to. People didn't have to start talking. They didn't have to let us, talk about mental health, but the industry has let us do this and open their arms. And now we're seeing, there was a time where it was Leslie and I driving this conversation. Now, everyone else is. And these conversations have become their own conversations for everyone happening and for everyone having them. And to me, that's incredible. And that's an honor to even have been a part of that and be allowed to be a part of that.
Nice. Well, and you know what, I could put myself in your shoes, hitting send or tweet, whatever it is. I tweet all the time and I can't remember what it says.
2017, so it's changed so much.
Maybe, it said something different, but just hitting that button, I could just picture and feel those feelings like in me right now. And that's amazing that you did that. Just think if you didn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
Have you ever thought of that?
Yeah.
Every once in a while, I don't like to dwell on the past, but there's a few key things in my life that have happened where I've fought really hard or X, and I could have just stepped back and said no, but I did it, and then X happened. So just imagine had you said no, I can't.
Yeah.
Where would we be?
I don't know. The gentleman who sent me that message, he reached out to me at the end of January, and he said, Kim, I'm at Farm Tech. And we launched at Farm Tech 2 years ago.
Oh, right.
And he said, I'm at Farm Tech and I'm walking around and I walk by the Do More booth and everyone's talking about mental health. And he's like, thank you for taking my message and doing something. And I was like, actually, I'm the one thanking you. Thank you for trusting me and sending that message to me.
True. Yeah.
Without him,
you're right.
Actually, none of this would be happening right now.
You're right. Okay. Well, thank you, Nameless Farmer. Thank you. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So here we are, as we just said, Do More Egg has taken on a life of its own. And you can tell that idea and your t-shirt campaign that you guys did before, rest assured that was not in vain, they say, because I'm sure every one of those points led up to, and that critical movement, right? So that's pretty cool. Here we are, and it's so great to see farmers, the big burly farmers, and the females that farm, and the ones that think talking about mental health is not okay. It's great to see that changing. To me, and I'm not going to say I know everything about it. I was not that long ago, actually, and I'm okay throwing myself under the bus on my own show, but not that long ago, I didn't understand mental health at all. And I'm slightly ashamed, but not. We're human and we don't know until we know. But I would have said some of those damaging things too, the suck it up, or, I'm all about the positive thinking, try harder, but why can't they do that?
Don't be so negative.
Don't be so negative.
Yeah.
Get out of bed. Just get up.
You're so lazy.
Yeah.
Thing is you're not the only one. We've all been there. I've been there.
Okay.
Before I knew better, before I understood, I was no different. And I would say, if we're all honest with ourselves, we've all been there until it matters to us.
Yes.
It's really, really tough for us to really grasp what those words mean to someone else or what those actions mean to someone else. And but what's important is that when we know better, then we do better.
I love that. Yeah, there's so many. What is the saying? Sticks and stones can't break my boat.
But words will never hurt me, and that's not true.
And that's not true. Gosh, throw a stick at me.
Yeah, it's not just words we say to others, but it's also words we say to ourselves.
You're so right. Yep. That's the conversation that we have going on all day long, and we can't get rid of that conversation. So you're right. And I know in your presentation here at Crop Connect, we'll chat about that, but one of the things I like that you spoke about was self-care. And I know even myself, and you said it too, and farmers out there, self-care, boy, woo-woo,
I see
right?
everyone roll their eyes and
yeah, totally.
whatever.
But it's not that, unless we feel our best, and you can take it right away, but unless we feel our best and rest and whatever, back that card up. If we take care of ourselves, we feel our best, we can do the best, and we can show up the best, right?
Yeah. There's a reason why pro athletes have a regimen around self-care. There is a reason why they see psychologists, they see counselors, they see that because they have to be at their best in order to perform as a team and be the best team possible.
I love that analogy. I love that analogy because we all know athletes and their accomplishment. And if we can take that mindset and put that over to the farmer, because you look at that farmer that drives himself, him or her, morning to night. And there's times a year we need to do it. I get it. But if you're just not your best.
But there's ways to do things even while you're in the middle of harvest. So this last year, on our combining crew, I said, okay, 3 times a day we're going to do breathing exercises. I'm going to take us all through it. And at first everyone's like, I'm not doing breathing exercises, whatever, I'm not doing that. Or they would make fun of me, right? But every morning, afternoon, evening, I would get on the radio and be like, okay, is everyone ready? We're doing them. Yeah.
Really? That's awesome.
So then a week went by and the one day I forgot. And one of the old guys on our crew radios and says, hey, Kim, are we going to do our breathing exercises?
Oh.
And he'd been one of the ones making fun of me.
Of course.
But it's something as simple as that. We didn't have to stop the combines. We didn't have to stop anything.
Yeah.
We were able to do it, and we were able to do it all as a group.
It's funny, as soon as you said that, did you notice I did a proper breath? And it makes a big difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right on. So we're here, 2020. You guys have done an amazing job. Like you said, the industry's really grabbed the reins. We're having conversations. We're doing training. Before we get into some of the actionable items that we can do out there to help ourselves and others, do you mind walking me through and the audience through the difference between mental health and mental illness?
Sure. Yeah. So mental health and mental illness are 2 different things.
Okay.
But they're often used synonymously.
Yes, that's why I'm asking.
Yeah. So mental health is a part of each and every one of us. You have mental health. I have mental health. Everyone watching has mental health.
Okay.
The World Health Organization actually describes it as a state of being where we can all reach our capacity, go about our day-to-day activities, reach our potential, and deal with the normal everyday stressors.
Okay.
So we don't choose whether we have mental health or whether we don't have mental health. And most importantly, it doesn't discriminate.
Okay.
It doesn't care where you live, what you do for a living, or how much money you have in your bank account.
Okay.
Mental illness, on the other hand, does not impact each and every one of us. It is not a part of each and every one of us. Approximately 1 in 5 of us will live with a mental illness at some point in our life. And just because you have a mental illness today doesn't mean that you'll have a mental illness tomorrow.
It can come and go.
Yes.
Okay.
So a mental illness refers to a range of mental health conditions that can affect our mood, thinking, and behavior.
Okay.
So things like depressive disorders, anxiety, schizophrenia, eating disorders, and something that we really don't like to talk about in our industry, but addictive behaviors like alcoholism.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, that's a whole nother 5 episodes there, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
I would say in the population in general, numbing, right?
Yes. Yeah, so unhealthy or negative coping mechanisms.
Right, okay. Thanks for clarifying on that. And I love in your presentation, you did such a good job of walking everybody through. And we're all trying to do our part and talk and educate, but I think it's important that we're using the right language, right? To me, going from ignorance not that long ago to seeing mental health conditions affect people that I know in my workplace, out in the community, I've gone from ignorance to a slow understanding, to acceptance, to I would say compassion.
Yeah.
Because people can't choose that.
Correct.
And the more we know, the more we can be compassionate and work with people, right?
Yep, that's right.
So language is good. We chatted about mental health, mental illnesses. What's happening in the community right now that we can get involved in, training, all that good stuff?
Yeah. So one of the initiatives that we launched was the Community Fund. And it's presented by Farm Credit Canada. And what that is communities across Canada can apply to receive mental health first aid training for free.
Okay. I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm getting it in Steinbach, Manitoba
Really?
in March.
That's
yeah.
so good.
Yes.
So we know that our healthcare system is tapped.
Yeah.
And we know that getting in for a doctor's appointment or something is like hard.
Yep.
It's a wait list. And we know that often we don't necessarily turn to our doctors first, we turn to our peers. So we needed to start thinking about how do we build that capacity, how do we build that knowledge within our own communities so that we can actually support each other properly and be healthy in doing that.
I love it. So there is mental health training available. I think you guys offer that foundation. So, am I saying that right?
Yep. So at the foundation, we also offer a 4-hour workshop.
Okay.
That goes over some of the basics around mental health, but also gets into a lot around like what is self-care? How do you identify self-care that works for you?
Okay.
And more importantly, something that has become very important to me that I didn't understand before, but supporting within your means and setting healthy boundaries and proper boundaries around that. And that's been a workshop that we kind of just started to offer, but it's been getting really great feedback.
Okay. And I enjoyed how you were chatting about that, because I think when even speaking for myself, when you go from ignorance to education to compassion, you can easily sway to try and fix.
Yep.
Right?
So that happened to me. So I get up and I talk a lot about supporting within your means, and I didn't fully understand what that meant off the start. And I didn't understand what that meant until about 1.5 years ago.
Okay.
When I started to slowly realize I am supporting this person way beyond my means.
Okay.
And I am no longer just a friend that's listening and supporting. I am someone's emotional punching bag.
Oh, not cool.
Yeah. And I ignored those kind of red flags and those alarms that were going off inside of me.
Because you want to help, and you're a caring person.
And you feel like you're almost responsible to help that person at all costs.
Okay. Yep.
But it was really important for me to realize there is a big, big, big difference between being a supportive friend and listening and encouraging someone, or supporting someone through a crisis situation, and then going to the extreme of becoming someone's emotional punching bag. Those are very, very different situations. So, and often we forget to take care of ourselves. When we are supporting someone else, we become invested in them and we feel responsible for them. And we really, really have to remember our own well-being and making sure that we take care of ourselves first, and that we respect our own boundaries, because our boundaries are what actually keep us healthy.
That's a hard one.
It was, I'll be very honest, it was the most emotionally and mentally devastating time of my life.
Oh,
and and it was very tough to go through. I felt a lot of guilt.
Yeah.
And we talk about, you may need to seek support yourself, and I did.
Good for you.
Because I had to.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a hard line, right? When you want to help, but when does it start doing you harm where you're affecting your mental health in your life, right?
So the more trainings and more learnings that we can offer around, this is where you can support, and this is where it crosses the line into, this person really does need professional help, and you are not a mental health professional.
Okay. Excellent. Those are good words of wisdom. And I can just imagine after you sent that tweet, and I know you got a lot of DMs, and I imagine all of you guys over the years, you probably became a bit of a safe place, I'd imagine. And people felt understood by you.
Yes.
Right? If I was going through that and you had tweeted that out, I probably would have wanted to connect and say, oh, here's my story, right? So that's a lot.
Yeah, what was actually interesting as well was my own family. My dad would go haul grain or do business or whatever it was, and they'd be like, "Oh, you're Kim's dad."
Oh,
and then they would open up to him because by association he was also a safe spot.
Okay.
So it was very interesting to see how that all played out and that took place as well.
Right, because he obviously raised such an amazing daughter, so he's amazing as well, right? Is that how it? Yeah.
Yeah. So it was just interesting. He'd be like, "Oh, well, so like this happened to me today." I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, do you want to talk about it or like?"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So, do you mind if I go there? What has your family thought of that?
It's been really interesting, and it's changed a lot of conversations around our farm.
Okay.
Around our house, around our kitchen table. I would say we are no different than any other family where it was get to work, do your stuff, like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And that's starting to change, or it is changing. And I think every farming family goes through that.
Totally.
Like, we're not unique, and if someone else's family is going through that, you're not unique. It is part of the process and part of the steps that we all have to go through as we gain a better understanding and learning.
Yeah. And I think farming, and I guess the general population, but let's speak for farming because that's where we're at. When you're on a farm, stuff needs to get done when it needs to get done. You don't have, for the most part, a choice on a sick day.
Yep.
So I think that's probably especially where the suck it up comes in.
Yeah.
Right?
So what we've kind of said is just come and do your best.
Okay.
Sometimes your best is 100% of you, and sometimes your best is 5% of you.
Yeah.
And if you're coming to the farm one day and it's 5%, just come and tell me so that I know.
Good.
And then we can work through that.
Yeah. That's nice too. And I've had that even with my team too. Sometimes you notice they're off, and if they go, "Oh, hey, my kid was up all night barfing," then you just know what was going on in their world. And then we don't make up those stories in our heads, right? It's all clear communication. We know where people are at. And that is what I love about this. And I've gone quickly from over here in my journey to, that's okay. We all have mental health. That's okay. Let's talk about it. To me, I would love for the conversation to be mental health, body health. There's no difference. It's
all the same. It's all one. Your brain is a part of your body.
Yeah.
So it really all is just one idea of holistic health.
Yes.
And your health isn't just your physical health. It's physical health, mental health, and social health.
Okay.
And how you maintain a balance between those three.
Say it again.
Mental health, physical health, and social health.
Ooh, I like it.
Yeah.
Social health as in get off the farm and...
Yeah, like what's your support networks? Okay. What are your friend networks? What do you do to hobby-wise? Are you involved in your community? What do you like to do to socialize? Like all those kinds of things that start to fill your cup.
Okay. And I think farmers work so hard that we might have a hole in the bottom of the cup sometimes.
Yeah, because how many farmers go on a holiday that is really focused around another farm show?
I'm married to a farmer.
Yeah.
I grew up around farmers.
But it's like, egg days is happening, so we're going to take the whole family in, and I'm going to go to the farm show, and the kids are going to water slide, and that's our holiday.
Yeah, that happens.
But that's really just working.
Yes.
Right? And they
don't see it that way though.
But the thing is like, or we feel so guilty when we leave the farm, like, oh, I have so much work to do. I can't leave the farm.
Yeah.
And we make each other feel guilty when we do that. So one of the things that we do on our farm is, okay, we're all taking the day off. Even during the summer, we're all taking this day off or this weekend off. No one comes to the farm and works.
Good. Then there's no guilt. Sorry to interrupt you.
Yeah, so there's no guilt. So it's everyone takes it off. I don't care what you do.
Love it.
Do not come to the farm.
That is smart. Because even let's say you took alternating weekends off or something like that.
You still feel guilty.
You still feel guilty because Bob's at the farm. Oh my gosh, I left all my work with Bob and now ...
And even my mom and dad who live at the farm, it's like, you guys can't touch anything. Go for a drive, go to town, I don't care what you do, but like no farm stuff.
That's funny that you say that. Even my husband, I'll take holidays from my job here. Because I know it's important and it recharges me. I'm no longer the important entrepreneur that's too busy for holidays, because I realize that is just a leaking cup, right? Then I don't show up as my best. But I take holidays and go home, and I realize if I don't plan a holiday away, my husband continues to work. Because we live there.
Well, and there's always something to do.
There's always something.
The work on the farm is literally never ending.
Yeah, I agree. And that's different. That's so different than an office too. There's
you don't live at your office.
You are forced to leave. You don't have a bed there. Right?
Exactly.
Most healthy people don't have a bed at work. Okay, so you have been on such a journey, I imagine, launching this. You guys are asked to speak a lot, and you do an amazing job. Kim was at Crop Connect here speaking, and she did such a fantastic job. If you ever get the opportunity, come out and watch her.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I love journeys and hearing about some of the exciting stuff going on. Are there any moments, conferences, travels, anything that really stuck out in your mind? I'm putting you on the spot here. There's probably so many. But even as far as traveling, do you get to go out a lot and speak at?
So this winter's been calmed down a little bit, but last winter it was a lot of seeing a lot of different places in Canada, which I'm very thankful for, because you meet a lot of people. The biggest thing is everyone has a story.
Yes.
Everyone, no matter who you are, you have a story, and it is important.
Yeah. I like that. And maybe on that note, do you mind sharing your activity that you start your presentations off with, the stand-up? Do you mind?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, because that's neat. That's like hits you in the gut.
Yeah, it's I do that, and I still get a little bit teary when I do it, because it's a big thing. So we start every show. I ask everyone 3 questions.
Okay.
And at the first question that applies to you, I want you to stand up and stay standing until I ask you to sit down. So the first question is, have you ever lost a family member, a friend, or a community member to suicide?
Yeah.
Second question is, do you or someone you know live with a mental illness or a mental health condition? And the last question is, have you ever needed to talk to someone but you had no idea where to go, or you were afraid of what people might think?
Yeah, that's powerful. And for those of you guys that aren't seeing this in action, and I could see why you get a little teary, when you asked the first question about suicide, I was actually surprised. I'm like, oh, we'll see, because I've heard about this activity that you do at the start. I'm like, oh, we'll see if you get up for the suicide, because that should be less common, and then we'll see more. I'm going to say, good guess, 90% of the room stood up. And then you asked, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so most of the people stand up, or they hesitate, they look around, like, is everyone and then they stand up. And then no one looks around after they stand up. They stand up and they either look straight ahead at me or they look at the floor.
Yeah.
And then little by little, the rest stand up. And it's not until I actually ask everyone to turn around and look that they realize the entire room is standing.
Yeah, you're right. Because I was right at the back of the room. And you're right, we were all looking. And then when you asked that, everybody started looking. I guess there would be that uncomfortable moment, like, I don't want to look and see if people are looking at me, maybe, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that activity does 2 things. So it breaks down the barrier that was in that room when we all started the talk. And it breaks down that stigma. And stigma is what stops us from talking, and stigma takes lives.
True.
And then secondly, it creates that sense of community. Because before we all looked around that room, we had no idea that we were actually all in this together as an industry.
Yeah.
And after we looked around that room, we realized that this impacts and is a part of each and every one of us.
I was at the back of the room, like I was saying, so I had a pretty good view of everything going on. And when you were done asking those 3 questions, there was only 2 people that I could see still sitting. And you know what? Like you said earlier, people take their own journey,
and it's
right?
totally okay, because maybe they were uncomfortable. Maybe they didn't know.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe who knows what, and that's totally okay. What's important is that we continue to put opportunities in front of people to take that journey and to continue taking those steps down that path of gaining an understanding and gaining knowledge.
I love it. I just love that you guys are doing this. I have known so many people that have suffered from mental illness. Like I said, different people that have reported to me in my company, and you don't quite know until you know, right?
Yeah.
And then you can handle it a little bit better. So I'm excited for the day, and it's coming quick.
Yeah.
I feel it. I'm excited for the day when this is not a big deal, right?
Yeah, I'm excited for the day where this is just normal.
Yep.
This is just normal everyday conversation. And if you had asked me 2 years ago when I thought that day would be, I'd be like, I don't know, it's a long time away. You ask me today, and I think that we are just about there.
Yeah, I agree. And it happened quick.
Yeah.
Nice.
Absolutely.
So that has been amazing. I'm so happy that we had you on the show. Again, I might put you on the spot, but you are so amazing at sharing great words. For anybody out there in our audience, do you have any words of wisdom if they are suffering or know somebody that is?
Yeah. So the one thing that I can always say is that you're not alone. There is no one in our industry that is alone. And whether it's you that needs to reach out and get help, it is okay. Or if it is you that wants to help someone get help, it is okay. And just always remember, no matter what, none of us are alone.
I love it. Those are amazing words.
Thank you.
So when we are done this interview right away, you're going to open up your phone. And I put a tweet out after Kim's presentation, or during the presentation, and I said, do you know what a visionary looks like? And then I stole a picture of you from online and then put a hand going down. And I truly feel that. You, Leslie, Himanshu, and Kirk. Okay. I don't know Kirk yet. You guys are truly visionaries, and thank you so much for having the courage to do that.
Thank you.
And start this. Good job. You're welcome. Thank you for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a blast. And thank you guys for joining us on another episode. If you liked it, as I know you will, like the episode, share the episode, and please leave some comments. I would love to hear from you guys. See you next time.
You've been listening to Impact Farming. For more great episodes and articles designed to help you manage and grow your farming operation, head on over to farmmarketer.com. Don't forget to sign up while you're there. We will see you on the next episode.